Hey everybody, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. If you are watching as a Patreon patron, thank you so much. If you are a YouTube subscriber, thank you so much. As I said, this is Pachter Factor live. I left out the word live, but you're getting it live. So you're getting it real time if you are a subscriber. If you are doing either of those things or not, it would be great if you could remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. That costs you absolutely nothing, but Shane gets paid by Amazon. You have to re-up that every month. So there are instructions on how to do it. It's literally 2 or 3 clicks in the show description below. So check that out. And if you haven't done it in a while, please remember to relink. You pay nothing. Amazon pays Shane. That's awesome. It's all part of your Prime subscription. Okay, so today's question for Pachter Factor Live, or topic, is the reinstatement of Guy Beam. And if you don't know who that is, good for you. You shouldn't know. Dr. Disrespect. He was a YouTube star, Twitch star, YouTube star. He's been kind of periodically banned from everything. He's an oddball, long hair, porn stash, sunglasses, outrageous guy. I see how people think he's entertaining. I personally find him like childish and kind of ridiculous, but whatever. But he has had a couple of flare-ups. One is that he made inappropriate communication with a minor, and the other is that he recorded something kind of off-color, way off-color, in a bathroom at E3. Now, E3 last was held in 2019, so this has been going on for 6 years. I mean, this guy is just not a good guy. And he was banned from, I think he was banned from Twitch first, actually. He was banned from YouTube. And banning means, obviously they can't stop you from posting your videos, but you're not going to get monetized them. Anyway, they reinstated him recently, and that caused quite an outrage. And people want to know, why is this bad guy back on YouTube, and why are you letting him make money? Let me divorce my personal opinion from my view of how rules and regulations should work and should be enforced, because they're different. Some of us have a particular aversion to some types of behavior and a particular acceptance and understanding of other types of behavior. So, there are things that are considered to be, rules violations that most of us would agree are, and there are some things that many of us would agree or not. So for example, if you were on YouTube and you said, I stand for human rights, well, they might say that's taking a political stance and ban you. Or if you say I stand for trans rights, well, some people will hate you, but do you get banned for that? Don't know. But there might be a rule that says you could, no political speech. On the other hand, most of us really, really hate anybody who makes inappropriate advances to a minor. And it's because we were all children once. We all had creepy experiences with creepy adults. Those of us who have had children, that's kind of the thing you do when you have children. You protect them and you try to keep that from happening. And, so you steer them away from making contact with strangers, and Dr. Disrespect did something wrong. So my personal opinion is it's horrific. Guys like that should be banned for life. But let's look at how the rules work and how YouTube has chosen to enforce them. YouTube takes rules violations kind of the way that we enforce laws. And so, if you steal a pack of gum at a convenience store, you could get, arrested and charged with a crime, but you're not going to prison for the rest of your life. If you hold up a convenience store at gunpoint and kill the clerk and all the customers inside, you probably face the death penalty. So there's a difference of degree of the type of crime that you commit. We all understand that crimes are very well codified by law, what is a crime and what the penalty is for the crime. For YouTube, it's really, rules and regulations that are enforced by gut. And so, again, I don't know what the inappropriate communication with the minor was. I took it to mean he solicited sex, which makes him just a really bad shithead. But, it might have just been that he said, hey, let's meet, and there was no sex. And so I don't really know. I think that just generically, and then I'll get into the actual politics at YouTube. Generically, I think that YouTube probably has a range of penalties for a range of different violations of their rules. And I think that the suspension for Dr. Disrespect, which I think it was 7 months, though, they conclude that was enough. The community is mixed. Like, some people are happy to see him back, and some people are outraged that he is back. But what is the right penalty? And I'd say the answer really is, it depends on the transgression. If in fact he solicited sex, sent pics, and sent videos, and in fact met with her and raped her, well, yeah, of course, lifetime ban, death penalty, he committed a crime. The fact that he wasn't arrested suggests to me that the transgression wasn't as severe as many people are imagining. If in fact he did attempt to have sex with a minor, he would have been criminally charged and convicted. More likely, he just did something really inappropriate, like sent a pic, whatever he does. I have no idea. And so then we can argue about whether a 7-month or 1 year or 10-year suspension is the appropriate penalty. Now let's get into the politics at YouTube. We've had a change of administration in the US, and the guys who are running the country now, and I would say President Musk is running the country, they have their own really weird, and I would even say the word fucked up, view of what free speech is. If you are a right-wing nutcase, nut job, white nationalist, sexual predator head, it's okay to be that as long as you're on the right-wing side, on the home team. So that's why the January 6th convicts, felons, were pardoned, because they were on the home team. So it's okay to protest violently if you're on the president's side. It's not okay to protest violently if you're on Kamala's side. And so I think that's pretty much what's going on here, that YouTube is feeling the pressure from the Trump administration, from regulators, from Congress, to overlook behavior that the president himself engaged in. The so-called grab him by the comment. I mean, he did all sorts of bad stuff. And so, you've had like Facebook send Trump money and settle $25 million because they banned him from Facebook for his January 6th comments on January 6th for his support of the protesters. And they said that was inappropriate, and they banned him. Not only did they reinstate him, they sent him a settlement, a lawsuit settlement. You got all these CEOs from tech companies, tripping over one another to kiss his butt. And I don't remember if Sundar Pichai was part of that, but the president of Alphabet, but definitely running YouTube. But I think this is just showing the administration we're all for free speech, and Dr. Disrespect's transgression didn't happen on camera. It happened behind the scenes. So we're going to let the guy go. And the YouTube explanation for it was essentially he served his time. So I think that, we can't argue about how they choose to enforce their own policies. And we can't argue anymore in the world of, of Trump, of white nationalism, of, let's prosecute the attorneys who prosecuted January 6th felons. That's actually going on at the Justice Department right now. Or the U.S. attorney from Washington, D.C. sent Elon Musk a letter and published on Twitter saying, I will prosecute to the fullest extent of the law anybody who interferes with Doge activity. Well, interfering with Doge activity, Doge being Department of Governmental Efficiency, you're allowed to protest. That's free speech. You're allowed to block the entrance to whatever building they're heading to. That's free speech. You're allowed to chain yourself to the door. That's free speech. But, the Department of Justice is going to prosecute people for that. I honestly think YouTube is going to back down on anything it does that could raise the specter that they are trampling on, free speech rights for bad people. And I think, honestly, we are about to see the entire social media landscape devolve from already a cesspool into just hell, just the worst of the worst. I think trolls are tolerated, no longer banned. That's been going on at Twitter since Musk took it over. I think you should expect that sexual predators are going to be given free rein to do whatever the hell they want. I think you're going to see that the Department of Justice is only going to prosecute political, opposition and not actual criminals. And I do think that what's going on with the government, where the federal government, where they're actually offering to furlough people and put Pachter Factor in charge of the FBI. You talk about if a Democrat wants to defund the police, that's bad. But if Pachter Patel, fires everybody at the FBI, that's good. So we're in a world of selective enforcement of the rules. I think that YouTube, in an endeavor to call favor with the government, to make sure that nobody cracks down on them for free speech violations, is going to err on the side of minimum penalty or no penalty for transgressions. Now, in fairness to Dr. Disrespect, who I absolutely detest, but in fairness to him, we don't know what he did. Like, we don't actually know if he solicited sex. I think probably not. So maybe, in fairness to him, the 7-month ban was appropriate. Maybe that's the right length of time. A lifetime ban for that, I think they did say in their explanation, if he does it again, then they'll look at it again. The second time, the third time, think about it like drunk driving. You don't go to jail for the rest of your life, nor do you lose your license for the rest of your life. You lose your license for 6 months. But if you get a second one, I think within 5 years or 10 years, you lose your license for life. So I think that's how YouTube is running it. And I can actually accept it and understand it. I don't approve of it because I'm very, very conservative when it comes to sexual predators. So I'm not a fan of what this guy's done, but I think I understand it. So I hope that answered the question. I really don't have a whole lot more to say about it, but I expect that you'll see a lot more tolerance of bad behavior. And I think you're going to get guys who push the envelope. And we had PewDiePie a few years ago posting Nazi stuff, if anybody remembers that. And, he's kind of faded. But, I think Nazi, anti-immigrant, anti-American, anti-trans, any DEI, that's going to not only be tolerated, it's going to be encouraged by the administration. You've got like crazy people that are, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who believes vaccines cause autism, running the Department of Health and Human Services. Scary. These guys have our medical records and our social security numbers. Scary. But again, there's a huge tolerance in America right now for bad behavior. And I think YouTube is just going with the flow. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor Live. You can tell who I voted for and how I came out on this. Again, if you're a Patreon patron, we really appreciate it. If you are a YouTube subscriber, awesome. You're getting your money's worth because you're getting these live broadcasts every week. If you are either of those, or if you're not, please remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. It is really easy to do. You have to re-up it every month. So if you haven't done it in a month or so, please check out the instructions on how to do so in the show description below. I will see you guys next week on Pachter Factor Live.